everyone, Tina here. I hope you're having a great day. I'm so glad you're joining me. Well, who's ready for some Halloween fun? We're going to make a spinner card today using the Spellbinders Large Die of the Month Club Kit. This is a monthly club kit subscription, and this month it's so cute. It's the Boo-mobile. It creates a cute little car that has a little pumpkin on it that you can tuck with ghosts, with one-eye bats, with ghosts with legs. How cute is this? Just a variety of fun Halloween things that you could put inside the car, and we're going to be using that along with the Spellbinders Clear Stamp and Die of the Month Club Kit. This is the Trick or Snark. It's a snarky stamp set. We'll be using this for our greeting, and I'll be back creating with this project in a few days, okay? And then for my background, we're going to be using the embossing folder of the Month Club Kit called Happy Jacks. I know a lot of you have the Spellbinders All Clubs crate, and has all of this in there, so we're going to do a mix and match of clubs today. Actually, I think I do this every month, but we're going to just jump in and get started and create this Boo-mobile. And we're just going to stuff it with one ghost. And the Boo-mobile is a pumpkin, and so I know everybody's going to make a orange Boo-mobile. So I'm going to go outside the box and create a teal Boo-mobile. So with this piece, we're going to cut out with some Spellbinders Waterfall. Okay? And then with this piece, it layers right on the top here. This piece, I cut out with the same waterfall. This has a little extra detail to it. And then this piece is where we're going to make our Boo-mobile spin. It's the front layer to the car. It has the pumpkin face. So I'm going to add the insert and cut this out with my Spellbinder Seaside. Okay, and then I'm going to take the outside and cut it out with some gray cardstock. This is Spellbinders Lunar Gray. They don't have this no more, but Anchor would be a good substitute. Okay, and then now for the back of the window on the Boo-mobile, you have this piece, which is this one. I cut that out with Spellbinders Fog. Okay, and then we're going to cut out the ghost here, and we're going to cut that out with Spellbinders Chiffon. We're not going to make a white ghost. We're going to make a chiffon ghost. Okay, and then what else? There's accent pieces to go with the car. Okay, let's take those. This is the headlights. Actually, it's not the headlights. It's the side view mirrors. And then we have the steering wheel. And then we also have the wheels. Now the steering wheel and the wheels we're going to cut out with black cardstock. And the lights we're going to cut out with Spellbinders Fog. That's that. And there's these little pieces here. And for those, we have this die. Okay, and I'm going to cut out this with some fog cardstock. Now with this, I'm also cutting this one out with some black cardstock. And I'm doing this because I want to put this black behind my skeleton headlights. Okay, that's what this piece is. So you can use them as the headlights or not. Okay, I'm going to cut this out with white cardstock along with my pumpkin teeth. That's this die. Okay, I have the trunk for my pumpkin. That's this piece, and I'm going to use Spellbinders Peridot. Okay, and that's the die cutting. I kind of did it a little bit different, but I kind of like it that way. That way you can go step by step. Okay, let's put this to the side. There's two greetings in here that are banners that says Hey Boo, but I'm not going to use those. I'm going to use my Clear Stamp and Die of the Month Club Kit. Okay, now we're going to do some ink blending. We're going to start off by ink blending these two pieces. I'm bringing in my Simon Says Stamp Surf ink. Let's see. And that's all we're doing with the surf ink. Okay, I'm going to bring in my also bring in my shell ink, and we're going to add a little color to our ghost. Only the head's going to show, but I do want to add just a little highlight to the ghost. Just a little bit. Okay. I'm bringing in my Earl gray underneath here and kind of fade up. Maybe this will give me a little depth on the inside of the car. Okay, and that's all we're doing. Just so it's not distracting, I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off my desk and we'll put together the car. Okay, first let's add, this goes behind here. And actually, before I did that, we should tuck our ghost in there. Before that glue dries, I'm gonna add my steering wheel. We'll just tuck it in there. And then I'm also going to add my ghost. Now for my ghost, we have this little piece here that I'm going to use a black marker. I'm using my black Copic marker. And I could probably zoom in a little bit more here. Okay. I think that's a little better. I'm just going to turn this black. Flip this over. And I'm going to add a little glue behind here. I'm not sure what the purpose of this is, but this is how we're going to use this today. And then behind the eyes, I'm going to bring in my black foam squares. And we're just going to add one piece behind here. Remove the release paper. There we go. And then I'm going to tuck our ghost in here. And I think he looks cute with that little piece hanging out. Okay? And I'm going to wipe this off. I have to use alcohol to take my Copic marker off my glass mat. And I have these little prep pads. Okay. So that is that. Now we have this piece. We're going to flip this over and add our lights behind here. And that is these pieces. Okay. And then we can, and then I'll add some glue. And then we're just going to go ahead and tack this down to the front of our car. We're going to tuck in our mirrors while we're at it. There we go. There we go. Okay, now we have our wheels, our tires. There's debossed area, so you know how far to go with them. I'm just going to add some glue on the upper portion of it. And we'll add some glue, and then that's where these little black pieces will come in handy. I'm thinking they'll fit behind here. And they do, which is lovely. And then we add some dots of glue here and here. And we can add our skeleton headlights. Now the reason I'm not using black foam tape behind these is because I need these to be flat. Because we are going to add a spinner. He's so cute. Our green pumpkin. Okay, now to create the face. So cute. I just love the happy face. I'm going to add some glue at the very top. We can add I'm going to flip it around. Let's do what let's flip it around. It's meant to go on the top, but you know I like to do things different than and I do like to think outside the box. So we're just going to flip it around and do the opposite. We're going to give this guy one tooth on top. Because technically the teeth are supposed to go like this. Okay, but I like the way this looks. Okay, after we have this done, we can add the pumpkin stem. Which, I'm going to add a little green too also. Spellbinders has some 1mm Okay, this is the 2mm, which is thicker. I want to use the 1mm, and this is a mix of sizes, and I'll link it down below. But I don't want a lot of dimension to this. Let me show you what these are. You see, they're not, the thickness is a lot thinner, and you get one sheet of each. And I'm going to put some foam squares, some low profile foam squares behind here. Okay, we loaded it up, and then we're just going to layer the backing on here. So we have a little bit of dimension. Now I'm going to flip this over, and that is where our spinners comes in. I have the multi-pack, and we're going to use the larger one. The larger one does have dimension to it, so this is going to be a bulky card, but I think it's going to be so cute. I'm going to add a dot of glue right here in the center, and then I'm going to flip this around and tack this down, and I did this backwards again. And then I'm going to add a couple dots of glue here, like so, and then we can add our pumpkin right over the top. This is nice because you know where the center is. Okay. And even though I popped up my ghost, I think he's still gonna spin. You can see here. And boy, I'm just barely moving it. It's so cute. Okay, there's that, our cute little car. I am going to put this to the side, and now we're gonna work on our background. That's where our embossing folder comes in. I'm gonna take this and emboss a panel of my Spellbinders Bellini. And the size of this panel is 4 inches by 5 1/4. There we go. Now this is the embossing folder of the month. It's not 3D, but it gives me just enough lift to where I can add some white pigment ink. I'm using my Hero Arts Unicorn pigment ink. I'm going to go over it. Spooky faces pop a little bit better. Okay, and then this is going to go on the front of my card base. To kind of land my card, I'm going to bring in a piece of peridot cardstock. Now this measures 2 inches tall by 4 inches wide, and this is where we're going to stamp our greeting. So I'm going to bring in my stamping positioner, and I'm going to stamp the greeting in here that says, "Hope this raises your spirits." And I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink, and we're just going to ink this up and stamp on the bottom. Go ahead and take this, and since again we have everything else ink blended, this is where I'm going to bring in my field ink. And I'm going to add a little color at the top and kind of fade down. Now I'm going to take my pumpkin mobile. What is this called? Is it Boo Mobile? I forget what this is called. The Boo-mobile. I'm going to take my now I'm going to take my Boo-mobile that is just moving like mad, and we're going to add some glue directly behind here. The back of the window is lifting up a little bit, so I'll just reinforce that. Okay, I love the way that just spins so easily. Oh my gosh, so cute. Okay, I was going to call it done, but I thought we needed something a little more up here. So to do that, I'm bringing in an older die set. This is the Spellbinders Sun and Clouds. I've had this forever. You can notice by their Spellbinders packaging, but it's one of my favorites. The clouds have little swirly lines on them. There's 2 clouds, and then the sun. This is what it looks like. But I always take a paper punch. Let's see. I use a 3/4 inch paper punch. Punch out a hole with the same color of cardstock, and then what I do is take some orange ink. This happens to be sherbet, and we're going to add a little bit of color to our orange. I like to go on one side like that. And then on the circle, I'll add some on one side. And then I add dimension to the sun. I'm going to use one of those 1mm foam squares. We'll just add a foam square here. And then the ink side I put on the opposite of the ink side here. Like this. I always just like the way that looks. And then we have a little dimension to our little sunshine. Now we're going to arrange these. Since I'm doing this after, we have to do a little tucking with them. Yeah, I think that will look cute. And then we can tuck a sunshine over here. Let me go ahead and add some of those low profile. Let's go ahead and pop these up. That fills it in nicely. It creates a cute little scene. And Spellbinders still has this too. So if you need a cloud and sunshine die, this is a smaller set, so the price point on it's great. And it's wonderful because of the textured detail on here. Trim off what's overhanging. And we're almost done. Now we need some bells and whistles. Okay, all I'm gonna do is bring in some of my, let's bring in my diamond stickles, and I'm gonna add it to these lights here. And then I'll add it to the eyeballs of my ghost. We'll just add a little sparkle. And then that's all I'm doing. I'm not, actually, yeah. And then that's all I'm going to do. Not too much. Just a little added sparkle. And that finishes my card today. A fun spinner card using the Spellbinders Large Die of the Month Club Kit. I hope this gives you a little bit of inspiration. Not so scary Halloween card. I think what would be cute too is in the picture, you have the witch's leg sticking out. I think that'd be cute in the card too. But thanks so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for sticking with me to the end. I have 2 more videos that you guys might be interested here. If you guys are new and like the content that you see, click that subscribe button and also the notification bell. That way for future videos, be notified. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It sure does help the channel. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.